Yes. Yes, Pushkarni, continue.
Yeah, I was just mentioning that he used the word that any picture which you have in your mind is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Generally, for the things that have already happened, we use the word evidence, which is
Yes.
as a proof for the thing that has happened. Here he is telling, use your mental image as an evidence for the things which have not been seen till now.
Hmm.
Evidence of
Metaphysics.
things not seen, any picture. So that is how we are going to stick on to it by bringing it to the present and feeling it. The words
So,
he have used to make it clear are very good.
yeah, and he's actually talking like a metaphysical things, na, which we have not seen,
Yeah,
but yet we have seen in
yeah.
the mind's eye.
So that is how it is like whatever we have seen in the mind, we have to feel them as real as they are physical. And
Right.
this sentence indirectly means that
And then one more
evidence
point.
of things.
One more point he has written on page 64, last line. The builder visualizes the type of building he wants. He sees it as he desires it to be completed. His imagery and thought processes become a plastic mold from which the building will emerge. A beautiful or an ugly one, a skyscraper or a low one. See, so whatever we are consciously thinking, only that we are accepting. And that is
Yeah.
what is coming into our projection.
Yeah, that is what he is mentioning in the next line. His mental imagery is projected as it is drawn on paper.
Hmm. So this is again the same thing, na Pushkani, what he is saying,
Mm.
hour to hour, moment to moment. So it is only
Yeah.
our own mental condition. The which are you understanding? Actually, even I am understanding. There is a lot of depth in it.
Yes, ma'am.
True.
So as he is saying, how things are being projected. So if I am continuously thinking about healing, only then it is going to come. So yesterday night when I was reading and trying to, correct my throat, I was not in a very confident mode that will this happen or not. So actually after that I slept. So I didn't read the head one, but I was reading this paragraph thinking that let me repeat it again and again that in an hour my throat will be fine. In an hour my throat will, though it is fine, but there is still a little bit pain, but that didn't vanish. So somewhere or the my doubts still played a role.
Yeah, even now after joining the session, I am trying like now my temperature has gone down after joining the session. Before joining the session, I only kept one thing in mind that after joining the session, I will get super energy. Then my fever will get down. So that is the thing that happened now.
So good. It is actually done.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, so wonderful.
Yeah, I was repeating myself in the like in the previous page. It was there like it is passing away, no. So I was like,
Hmm.
my temperature is getting down. I was the only thing that I was repeating myself.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
now
know,
I can
what
see like
I have one more point here. When we think about health and vitality, what we say is this should not happen. Okay, this fever should not happen again. So be mindful of saying that I am healthy instead of reminding that fever, because again we are forming a mental imagery, and the subconscious does not know anything. It's like a blank state. Whatever imagery we are putting, we are using our power, emotions and feelings also attached to it. So if I, in my oh my god, this is such a good thing, my health is going to be wonderful, so that sounds very exciting, right? So
yes,
when this sounds exciting, obviously my feeling and my emotions are really going to rise up, and I'll be thrilled with the activity. So, and if I still see, oh my, this has to go on. So there is a difference of your mental imagery and the emotions you are connecting. So just start feeling good about it also. That is very important.
yes, ma'am. I understood.
That is why now, because we see that we say that the things are simple, but only when our mind is at a very simpler state of happy, feeling happiness, joy, everything. But this will also pass. This will also pass. वो होता नहीं है, but still we have to learn and we have to do. And it is for actually everybody. I'm just मैंने दिव्यश्री को बस पकड़ लिया है.
Yeah.
Please don't
Yeah,
mind.
shall I
I don't
continue?
mean. Yeah, sure. Yes, Pushkarni, please.
Mental movie method. The Chinese say a picture is worth 1,000 words. William James, the father of American psychology, stressed the fact that the subconscious mind will bring to pass any picture held in the mind and backed by faith. Act as though I am and I will be. A number of years ago, I was in the Middle West lecturing in several states, and I desired to have a permanent location in the general area from which I could serve those who desired help. I traveled far, but the desire did not leave my mind. One evening, while in a hotel in Spokane, Washington, I relaxed completely on a couch, immobilized my attention, and in a quiet, passive manner imagined that I was talking to a large audience, saying in effect, I am glad to be here. I have prayed for the ideal opportunity. I saw in my mind's eye the imaginary audience, and I felt the reality of it all. I played the role of the actor, dramatized this mental movie, and felt satisfied that this picture was being conveyed to my subconscious mind, which would bring it to pass in its own way. The next morning, on awakening, I felt a great sense of peace and satisfaction. And in a few days' time, I received a telegram asking me to take over an organization in the Midwest, which I did. And I enjoyed it immensely for several years. The method outlined here appeals to many who have described it as the mental movie method. I have received numerous letters from people who listen to my radio talks and weekly public lectures telling me of the wonderful results they get using this technique in the sale of their property. I suggest to those who have homes or property for sale that they satisfy themselves in their own mind that their price is right. Then I claim that the infinite intelligence is attracting to them the buyer who really wants to have the property and who will love it and prosper in it. After having done this, I suggest that they quiet their mind, relax, let go, and get into a drowsy, sleepy state which reduces all mental effort to a minimum. Then they are to picture the check in their hands, rejoice in the check, give thanks for the check, and go off to sleep, feeling the naturalness of the whole mental movie created in their own mind. They must act as though it were an objective reality, and the subconscious mind will take it as an impression, and through the deeper currents of the mind, the buyer and the seller are brought together. A mental picture held in the mind, backed by faith, will come to pass.
What an example of, higher power. The power of the subconscious or the power in us. And everything is, it is like everything is coming in alignment. So this is something very amazing. How the property has been sold. So whatever I fixed a price in my own mind, I will get the buyer. Normally, we people struggle when we have to do some sale purchase. We struggle with the price settings. But this is a very good example of whatever you think in your mind, that has to come to acceptance.
Yeah.
Very
Here,
good.
through this example, he is telling us to decide what we want and how we want and leave it there. And the rest is done. The rest is assured. So here, that the seller is satisfied of the right price. So that is how we are communicating to the subconscious that I am getting the price which will satisfy me. I suggest to those who have homes or property for sale that they satisfy themselves in their own mind that their price is right. Their price is right. So we are agreeing ourselves. We are bringing it to agreement between the conscious and subconscious. And that's how it is done. Once we decide and satisfy ourselves in the mind, and that is what is going to happen in the physical world. We are going to get the right buyer for the right price. It's actually like a movie. Whatever he has seen is like really a mental movie.
Playing a role with the
Who are
audience.
struggling to sell their properties can easily implement and adopt ways like this.
Yes.
And we can even create our own movies for any other desire. If not the selling of property, for any other desire, we can create our own movie and satisfy ourselves about its manifestation so that it will be coming to pass in future.
Right. You know,
Shall I continue?
I remember a little example here. This is not about the property or something, like a mental picture. So when I remember when I was looking for a tutor for my daughter, and then I kept on searching that I should get a good one. And suddenly, I met a neighbor of mine who had done masters in Sanskrit at the first year. And that time my daughter was doing her BA, and suddenly she just said that dear Bobby, should I can help my daughter to your daughter to study. And I was like, oh wow, I was looking for so many people around, and this just came in my neighborhood itself. So it was like I wanted a girl or a woman teacher, and I wanted her to be at my place, and I wanted this much amount to be paid. And it now I'm realizing everything just settled into exactly that frame. Exactly
Yeah,
that
it
frame.
came to you. You
Yeah,
attracted it.
yes, exactly how I wanted. Because Sanskrit is a subject where we mostly get male acharyas. I was not able to find a lady
Mm.
teacher who was or I will have to daily take her to some other place to travel to her house for that woman to come. So this was something
Mm.
like a blessing. I was like, oh wow, she's just next door. She can
Mm.
come down anytime. The time suits, whatever it
Mm.
suits for all of us. Then
Mm.
the amount which I decided mentally that this is good enough, and she did not say anything about it. She was okay with that. And
Wow.
now I realize, see
Simple
how
manifestation. You made it so
simple.
simple.
I wanted her to come to my house because I didn't want to travel too much. So she
Mm.
actually said that okay, we'll manage. Sometimes she has to come to my place also, but mostly she had sessions at my home only.
Mm.
See, so
Everything is
now
possible
yeah,
when
I'm
we listen to
realizing it
such
now.
experiences.
I
Mm.
am realizing this now that yes, this is possible because for that tutor, I had gone to many institutes and they were all ready to teach her in the evenings, and I didn't feel safe to leave my daughter with
Mm.
somebody. So I was
Mm.
not ready to send her to any of the places. So I wanted a home tuition for her.
Mm.
So it happened.
Yes. Easily and simply.
Easy and
Just like that
simply.
it happened.
Huh. I
Yeah.
just met her at a party and she said, okay, I was just talking to somebody that I'm looking for, if you know some, teacher who can teach. And suddenly she popped up. She said, okay, I'll teach her. I have done MA till first year. So BA is easy for me and I was very good in that subject. I said, oh, wow. Everything just landed into my
Mm.
place.
Mm.
Right? So that's amazing. So
They are
we
so
all have,
inspiring, such simple stories.
yes. If I think when you all go back and you sit down and you understand some way or the other, no, we all are doing it, but we are not
True.
realizing it. So it is easy actually. Chalo, let's continue.
The Bowdoin technique. Charles Baudouin was a professor at the Rousseau Institute in France. He was a brilliant psychotherapist and a research director of the New Nancy School of Healing, who in 1910 taught that the best way to impress the subconscious mind was to enter into a drowsy, sleepy state or a state akin to sleep in which all effort was reduced to a minimum. Then, in a quite passive, receptive way, by reflection, he would convey the idea to the subconscious mind. The following is his formula. A very simple way of securing this impregnation of the subconscious mind is to condense the idea which is to be the object of suggestion, to sum it up in a brief phrase which can be readily graven on the memory, and to repeat it over and over again as a lullaby. Some years ago, a young lady in Los Angeles was engaged in a prolonged, bitter family lawsuit over a will. Her husband had bequeathed his entire estate to her, and his sons and daughters by a previous marriage were bitterly fighting to break the will. The Bordine technique was outlined to her, and this is what she did. She relaxed her body in an armchair, entered into the sleepy state, and as suggested, condensed the idea of her need into a phrase consisting of 6 words, easily graven on the memory. It is finished in divine order. The significance to her of these words means that infinite intelligence operating through the laws of her subconscious mind would bring about a harmonious adjustment through the principle of harmony. She continued this procedure every night for about 10 nights. After she got into a sleepy state, she would affirm slowly, quietly, and feelingly the statement, "It is finished," in divine order, over and over again, feeling a sense of inner peace and all pervading tranquility. Then she went off into her deep normal sleep. On the morning of the 11th day, following the use of the above technique, she awakened with a sense of well being, a conviction that it was finished. Her attorney called her the same day, saying that the opposing attorney and his clients were willing to settle. A harmonious agreement was reached, and litigation was discontinued. Here, I like to highlight a point.
Yes.
She awakened with a sense of well being, a conviction that it was finished. So, till the subconscious accepted it, till she felt that it is finished, till she felt that feeling in her mind, it was kept on hold. When she convinced her subconscious through the feeling of that satisfaction, then she got the result immediately.
Yes. So it says na the gut is the second mind. So when you keep on repeating, it becomes like a gut feeling that this is going to happen. So it is like creating our own gut, right? So we are
Yeah,
actually,
it has become the conviction.
yeah, that this is going to happen. But this is something very brave actually. To it is finished in the divine order, and that to a court case. And I wish that today Shweta would have been here. This would have really helped her.
Mm, yeah.
So it is finished in the divine order, over and over again, feeling a sense of inner peace and an all-pervading tranquility that she went off into her sleep. See, one point is here, he is again and again, bringing that sleep state. He's
The
telling us,
calmness.
yes, calmness or before sleep.
Mm.
It's the before, where we are carrying it to the subconscious before sleep.
Yeah, maybe here they mean by mentioning the sleep, that state where there is no physical activity, no mental unnecessary thoughts.
No, because
So
he's
some
written,
people can reach that state even through the meditation.
that is right. But then he's writing, then she went off into her deep normal sleep. And then in the morning, he's saying, now on the morning of the 11th day, that means next morning. What happens is, if we have retired into our sleep with a tension kind of or a worry. In the morning also, we will be carrying that same thought process that
Yeah,
what will
true.
happen. But what he's saying is when she slept with a conviction, so she got up again with that conviction. So that also makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So as you know, Ramji was saying,
Here
consciousness is
she carried
cyclic.
it forward.
Yes, yes, Ramji.
Yes.
Yeah, what I want to say here is it is finished in divine order. So if you are only saying it is finished in divine order, but remember whenever I speak, I keep saying the story in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So she's having a specific significant meaning to what it means to her saying to her own mind or whatever, it is finished in divine order. He's telling that, it is very specific. She she has she has on the background set a definition to what it means it is finished in divine order. That is very important. So if you do not have this definition, if you do not have this firm conviction, or if you do not have this destination, or whatever you call it, so it wouldn't make sense. So if somebody is telling, I will take up an issue in my life and I will say it is finished in divine order, you must set a
Goal.
destination to it. How? How is it going to be finished?
That clarity.
So here, yeah, that you should have the clarity. So here she's telling that the infinite intelligence would bring about a harmonious adjustment through the principle of harmony. And she has specified, she is very clear about what it means it is finished in divine order.
Yeah, so Ramji, in a way, what I understand is that her body and mind has already accepted that idea completely. So
Yes,
so she has just
that
drawn the attraction, drawn the experience towards her.
yeah. My only point is like, you must have the clarity of what it means actually.
Of course,
Okay.
I think only when that
So
conviction comes, then the things will fall in place.
yes. See, suppose somebody takes an issue. So I'm just telling you that. I'm just telling you something else. Okay. It's just random. Okay. It's not a real experience. So it's like, maybe somebody is doing let's take the same example. What is this? This is a litigation, right? Is this a litigation? Is this a litigation? Yes, it is a litigation.
Yes.
So it is a litigation matter. Let's say there are 5 children, and one of them is there, and they feel that this is something not going in the right direction. There, it's not being equally divided or whatever. So let's say that this person said to he's having the feeling that it is not happening in the right way. It is very not equalized, or equanimity is not there, or whatever, carrying this feeling. And if this person repeats, it is finished in divine order, what are the possibilities of the experience that could follow? So if I'm telling that, if the person is convinced that this is not happening in the proper manner, I am being cheated, I am being just left out, or I am being given a very small part of it. So it is finished in divine order, then definitely this person is going to have a smaller part or an imbalanced kind of experience. And finally, the person has to eat what and satisfied with what he has said to himself of it is finished in divine order.
Correct. Now I understand what you're meaning. I'll explain. Ramji, I have a very beautiful example. This my sister is a banker, and one day she called me, Didi, I have a promotion coming up, and I really want. I've always been graded 3. Now I want a grade 2. I said, okay, go and think in the same direction that you've already got it. So believe me, she actually got rating second, but she didn't call me happily. She was again crying. I said, what happened? She said somebody who was not deserving got first. And I was like, are you nuts? You did not think even once that you will be one first. So now you can't sit and cry because somebody else. So you are no one to decide that who deserved it, because you accepted the idea of from third to second. You did not think yourself as a deserving one for the first, so somebody else has to take the place. So it's there. Is it same, na? Same thing what you're telling me.
Yes, my only point in stressing this is because the point is like, that story must be very clear in your head. What exactly you're saying. You can take these words, it is completely fine. It is finished in divine order, but you must be on the background, s- very specific about what exactly you mean by it is finished in divine order.
Yes. Yes.
So I just gave an example by saying that, how it can go, in what direction it can go. The only direction it takes is the story that you're carrying in your head on the background.
Ramji, here it is finished. Isn't that sufficient? We also need to think and decide the direction of it, the direction of manifestation, I mean, about the process?
No, it is very evident here. See, the technique is, it's very simply, it's explained. She said, it is finished, it is finished. Okay, that is fine also. It is finished in divine order because she believed in the divine order. So it's completely fine. It is finished in divine order. But what she's carrying on the background, it is very, see, it is very clear over there. She is having a very specific meaning to what it means it is finished in divine order. So I'm telling that, whenever you are doing some manifestation or something, if you want to say it is finished in divine order, have a have a very, very clear thought about what it means to be finished in divine order.
Okay.
And
We have to
then
define it for ourselves. Then it will be done in that way.
Yeah.
And then she has actually, it's mentioned here, she continued this procedure every night for about 10 nights. After she got into the sleepy state, she would affirm slowly, quietly, and feelingly the statement, it is finished in divine order. So over and over again, a feeling and a sense of inner peace and an all-pervading tranquility. Then she went off into her sleep, into a deep normal sleep. So it is like a repetition of the same thing for assuring that goal of what we want actually to actually manifest or we want to see, right? Yes, Ramji?
Yeah, that is evident, right? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's very clear. It doesn't need a confirmation for this.
Yes,
It
yes.
it is very evident. She has done exactly, and actually in this, Joseph Murphy is giving you a very, very specific instruction that the story behind that must be very specific.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
It is a hint that most people miss, and if you have a different story, then it is going to happen in that direction.
So it will be a chaos otherwise.
Yeah. She see if this same lady was feeling that now she's in a toss and people are not agreeing to it. They're going to snatch away these things from me. They're going to take away that whatever there. It was a house. What it was a
Lawsuit, family lawsuit over a will.
mansion. Yeah, will. They're going to break up the will. Like these feelings, if she had carried within herself, and if she had said to herself, "It is finished in divine order. It is finished in divine order. It is finished in divine order," then definitely that will would be broken into pieces.
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So that is
Okay.
very specific. Just be careful whenever you're using things. You should be very specific about what you're saying to yourself, and the background, the story in your head must define what it means. So that is very important. Just be careful here.
Yes, yes. Okay, we have another 9 minutes to go. Let's continue, Pushkarni.
Yeah, the sleeping technique. By entering into a sleepy, drowsy state, effort is reduced to a minimum. The conscious mind is submerged to a great extent when in a sleepy state. The reason for this is that the highest degree of outcropping of the subconscious occurs prior to sleep and just after we awaken. In this state, the negative thoughts, which tend to neutralize your desire and so prevent acceptance by your subconscious mind, are no longer present. Suppose you want to get rid of a destructive habit, assume a comfortable posture, relax your body, and be still. Get into a sleepy state, and in that sleepy state, just a minute. And in that sleepy state, say quietly over and over again as a lullaby, I am completely free from this habit. Harmony and peace of my mind reign supreme. Repeat the above slowly, quietly, and lovingly for 5 or 10 minutes, night and morning. Each time you repeat the words, the emotional value becomes greater. When the urge comes to repeat the negative habit, repeat the above formula out loud by yourself. By this means, you induce the subconscious to accept the idea and a healing follows.
Yes. So he's
The thank
actually
you technique.
he's
Yeah.
actually told everything what Ramji was saying, right? Yes. Continue.
The thank you technique. In the Bible, Paul recommends that we make known our requests with praise and thanksgiving. Some extraordinary results follow this simple method of prayer. The thankful heart is always close to the creative forces of the universe, causing countless blessings to flow toward it by the law of reciprocal relationship based on a cosmic law of action and reaction. For instance, a father promises his son a car for graduation. The boy has not yet received the car, but he is very thankful and happy, and is as joyous as though he had actually received the car. He knows his father will fulfill his promise, and he is full of gratitude and joy, even though he has not yet received the car. Objectively speaking, he has, however, received it with joy and thankfulness in his mind. I shall illustrate how Mr. Brock applied this technique with excellent results. He said, bills are piling up. I am out of work. I have 3 children and no money. What shall I do? Regularly, every night and morning, for a period of about 3 weeks, he repeated the words, thank you, Father, for my wealth, in a relaxed, peaceful manner until the feeling or mood of thankfulness dominated his mind. He imagined he was addressing the infinite power and intelligence within him, knowing, of course, that he could not see the creative intelligence or infinite mind. He was seeing with the inner eye of spiritual perception, realizing that his thought image of wealth was the first cause relative to the money, position, and food he needed. His thought feeling was the substance of wealth untrammeled by antecedent conditions of any kind. By repeating thank you, Father, over and over again, his mind and heart were lifted up to the point of acceptance. And when fear, thoughts of lack, poverty, and distress came into his mind, he would say, thank you, Father, as often as necessary. He knew that as he kept up the thankful attitude, he would recondition his mind to the idea of wealth, which is what happened. The sequel to his prayer is very interesting. After praying in the above mentioned manner, he met a former employer of his on the street whom he had not seen for 20 years. The man offered him a very lucrative position and advanced him $500 on a temporary loan. Today, Mr. Broke is vice president of the company for which he works. His recent remarks to me was, I shall never forget the wonders of thank you, Father. It has worked wonders for me. Excellent.
Yes. So it is like a gratitude. Lot of gratitude for
Yeah.
something which you don't have, but still you are changing your state of mind for that.
It
Constantly,
totally filled him with gratitude.
yes, and coming out of the state of lack actually.
Yeah.
So in
It
spite
helped
of,
him easily occupy the state desired, isn't it?
yeah, yes, yes. So before the thing has happened, he has already, in his own mind, he has dominated. He's written a thankfulness, feeling or mood of thankfulness dominated his mind. He imagined
Hmm.
he was addressing the infinite power and intelligence within him, knowing, of course, that he could not see the creative intelligence or infinite mind. He was seeing with the inner eye of spiritual perception, realizing that this thought image of wealth was the first cause relative to the money, position, and food he needed. His thought feeling was the substance of wealth, untrammeled by antecedent conditions of any kind. So, again, it's the same thing. He first brought that clarity in his mind that everything is again going to be in that divine order, what we say, and how it is going to be. His bills are going to be paid, his children are going to be fed, and he will have whatever money he wants. So he actually came out of that point of coming out of thoughts of lack, poverty, and distress.
Yeah.
So his mind and heart were lifted to the point of acceptance when fear, thoughts of lack, poverty, and distress came into his mind. So he actually transformed his inner energy, right?
Yeah. Uplifted the emotions.
Yes, yes. So there's a lot
And
to
it helped
learn actually.
him.
Yes, Pushkarni, keep on. We have only 1 minute
That,
left.
yeah, that uplifting of emotions helped him in impressing the subconscious easily.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that is a good lesson for all of us to keep our watch on our emotions this week and understand and bring clarity to our stories and continue with a enlightening session for the next week.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.